Hey everybody, I'm Bill.
And I'm Elizabeth with Tiny House Prepper.
And we are here at the Thrive Life corporate headquarters in American Fork, Utah. And we are about to go on an excursion to Moab.
Yes.
And we're really excited about it. We're here for a leadership conference, but they have this excursion planned a day ahead of time. And so all the people behind us are all Thrive consultants who are all going. So we're going to get on a bus and head for Moab. Moab's been on my bucket list for years, so.
Alrighty.
Yours too?
Well, I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, so
Alrighty.
it's going to be cool. So come on along with us.
Okay.
Tiny House Prepper.
Live simple, live free.
The weather today was supposed to be a high of 55 with an 80% chance of rain in the morning, but then that rain dropping to 20% in the afternoon. But here we are in the morning on Route 6 going up over Soldier Summit, and the rain turned to snow. And it's just getting deeper. It's not getting warm. Soon the road was completely covered with snow. We're just going to keep going, but I don't know what we're going to find once we get there.
Well, so here we are. We have arrived in Moab. The weather is much colder and rainier than I expected. As you could see, we drove through a lot of snow to get here. Now that we're here, it's not snowing anymore. We still have rain, which is hopefully supposed to stop within an hour. We are at Lions Park, which is kind of like a roadside rest right outside of Arches National Park. Eating lunch here underneath of a pavilion. And our tour guide will arrive soon, and then he'll take us into the park. And you know, this weather is just not what we had expected or what we had hoped, but we're still going to make the best of it. We're still going to really enjoy whatever we can see. This has been a dream of mine to see this. So here we are. Let's see what we can see.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually pretty good. Yeah, all this jumping around, getting away from spiders. I'm active. Doing fine.
What are you wearing there?
The plastic bag.
The National Park was named after the superintendents. They came in and named things.
Southern Utah actually gets very little rain, and though the rain is starting to clear up now, it has been raining for the past 2 days, so that gives us the chance to see this very unusual sight. Notice that this waterfall starts right from the very top.
The thought now is that at the microscopic level is that dust and soil is blown into the rock and turns the rock dark. And it's called desert varnish.
Wow.
At this point, we had a choice of two different excursions that we could do. This is the Delicate Arch, and we had the option to hike up to the arch or to stay on the bus and see more of the rest of the park. The hike up to the arch was about a 3-mile round trip with a 500-foot elevation gain, and about half of our party went and did that. Elizabeth and I decided to stay on the bus, which toured more of the park, and we stopped at several other areas as well, and we really enjoyed seeing more of the park.
Sisters?
That they make.
The wood duck's the really pretty one.
Yeah, and then there's ones where they use the feathers and really expensive stuff. Oh well, I'll think of the word in the middle of the night tonight. I'll think of it tonight. It's a type of down.
Well, my buddy and I.
The bus stopped here for us to be able to hike in to see Sand Dune Arch. Now, many eons ago, small cracks developed in these rocks, and eventually the cracks eroded into these what we call fins, and we were able to actually hike up in between these fins to be able to see the arch.
You're dating yourself.
And there is our guide standing by the tree over there on the left, watching as we all begin to hike up between the fins. It was amazing how tall some of these fins were and how narrow the spaces between, but it also opened up into much wider spaces in between, and it was flat and very soft sand. Elizabeth decided not to go because she was afraid with the balance issues that she has. She would have a difficult time walking in that deep sand, and there was some mud and puddles, and that was a good choice. She would have had a difficult time. So I had to do this by myself, but she sees the video. So here is the Sand Dune Arch buried in the midst of all of these fins, and here's part of our group running for a photo op underneath of the arch.
Oh, it's right here. That's it? Okay.
So this was our tour guide. His name was Sam. He was very knowledgeable about the park, about the history of the park, about the geological history. Very fascinating. He was actually 6'9", and Elizabeth walked past him and she said, "So how tall are you?" And he said 6'9". He was very pleasant. So then I walked past him and I said, "I bet you've never heard that question before, have you?" And he just laughed and he said, "They always ask, do you like to play basketball?" And I always say, "No. Do you play miniature golf?" Cracked me up.
So the water gets in, it dissolves the calcium carbonate, the sandstone particles fall away.
Wow.
So that's the process here too. The water's gotten back in there, dissolved the sandstone, it has fallen away. If you look at the concept of fins, this rock here and this rock and where the arch is, when there was the salt dome here, it pushed all the rock up above it and it put microscopic cracks in the rock. And then the water came down through those cracks and created these openings, leaving places for what we call fins. If you look straight across from us, you can see fins.
No bears do, are they? Yeah.
So this isn't quite the season for it, but the largest flowering plant in the park can be seen here during the spring and summer. And I guess its stalks are right over here on our right at 1 o'clock. And it is called moonflower. Moonflower, it's a member of the Datura family. It's right down here on the, it makes a really big flower. It's super white. It opens during the night and it's fertilized by moths. And with the Datura family, if you eat it, you will have amazing hallucinations just before you die. Alcove up here, there's an arch behind that. So there's a little slit and the water came down and eroded it out. And that's called bicep arch right here, even though you can't see it.
Huh. Okay.
So I took a picture and I was like,
That happens.
And that's the north window right there.
picture,
The north window.
So now I got to go in and clean them up.
And if you come over here by Turret Arch and look back this way, there's two arches and they'll call it the spectacles.
It's so hard to
It
get
looks
those
like
open.
glasses.
Through the glare in the window. Those were amazing.
This is called the double arch. You can see one right in here, and then there was another one behind it.
Kristen? Can I put my coat on your back? Please? It'll fit. Turn around.
You can see people hiking up through there.
I'm not going to take one.
These are the elephants. Past the double arch. Apparently there's supposed to be more elephants right in here, but I don't see them. There's another arch. The arches are everywhere.
Go up until it gets too dark to go on. We have to go until I break both levers.
Pretty amazing place.
Yeah, I've had horse rides. Put what in? Yeah, my main jacket.
So what do you think? How you doing?
Oh, it's just spectacular here. See the arch behind us? Right there.
You know what that one is?
Which one's that called?
It's called the north window.
Okay.
And he said if you go around the other side, there's another one right next to it, and it looks like glasses. You see two of them side by side like
That's
that.
cool.
And then of course over there is the double arch and the elephants.
The elephants marching, and oh yeah, and we've seen the big mountains now. The Sal Mountains. It cleared enough that we could see them, and the distance here I just soak it up. Oh my
And you know, with
goodness, I
all the
love
rain and the
distance.
snow this morning coming up over that, what was that pass we crossed over? And it was cold when we got here. It was miserable. It's warmed up beautifully. It's sun shining. It's probably 55 degrees, and It's beautiful.
Spectacular rain washed all the. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, that's okay. Just we don't want them to bump it.
All the rock
Yeah,
is like
it-
really
Yeah, it fits a little
like dark.
tight now
Yeah.
that I have here.
Thanks for being patient, guys. Sorry about that. Enjoy your hike.
Good luck. You too.
The rock is like real rich colors because it got wet.
Yeah.
And so it just got that wonderful rain-washed, clean, fresh feeling. And it's just really wild, unearthly structures of rocks here and stuff. It's just amazing.
There's huge sections like this with big valleys in between. And you know, the one interesting thing about riding in the bus with a tour guide, sometimes you don't see quite as much because you can't stop when you want to see something, you know. But he's telling you the history and the geological history and all the names, and so it's really, I guess, the best way if you had time, which we don't. We're only going to be in the park about 4 hours, but the best way would be to take a tour to get all the grand, you know, overview of things, and then go back yourself and explore everything.
Yeah.
That would be the best way.
Yeah.
But like I said, we were only doing about 4 hours here, and then we're headed back to Thrive corporate headquarters again.
But oh, it's truly a magnificent place. Oh, what a beautiful day.
Well, I've always wanted to be here. I've always wanted to see it. I've seen so many other, you know, full-time RVers and stuff who show all of this on their channel, and I just, and here I am. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah. We feel very, very privileged.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I was skeptical for a while, but looks like this day's going to work.
It's beautiful. Oh, yeah, it's sunshine, sunshine. All right, we're trying to show you the beautifulest things we can find.
Yep. You know, it's kind of hard to take shots from the bus because it's always moving. I can't get the best shots. I get it, and then the bus turns, and my shot's out of range, you know. And then the glare on the windows is really difficult, but I'm doing the best I can.
Yeah, we'll try to show you as much
Yeah.
as we can. It's beautiful.
And fortunately, every once in a while we can stop like this and get out and walk around and take a few shots.
Yeah. All righty, well, let's go up and see that arch a little closer.
Okay, let's do it.
Alrighty.
Going to turn arch and then coming back and to see the windows. There's like this little side path.
You know, nobody would know who he was. They can't see his face, so is it okay if I come over and see here? I always ask permission. We have a big YouTube channel, so I always ask permission.
Now, if we look really close up here in the Garden of Eden, there's another arch. And we're just passing it. It's at about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It's called Serpentine Arch. We'll just be able to see a little of it as we go by. Oftentimes you see climbers on this spire here that has the white top. On this short little tower here, they really look nice today. So in a few thousand years, these will fall down and there'll be new arches. So just, you can kind of see an arch right there at about 3 o'clock. That first row of rocks right there. It's a beautiful place to pull in and get sunset pictures. between 11 and 12 o'clock, it's the three penguins again. They blend in fairly well.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Arches National Park had 1.75 million tourists last year. It was designed for 70,000 tourists.
Yeah, apparently you got to be here early in the morning if you ever want to park.
If you're out here by 10 o'clock, then you're not going to find any place to park.
Oh,
So, we see the Colorado River back there?
Yep.
Was it ever called anything else besides the Colorado?
Do I get $1 million for this?
If you get it right, I'll give you $1 million. It was called the Grand River.
You just got $1 million.
Hence the Grand Canyon, Grand Junction, Grand County.
Excellent. These switchbacks are amazing.
So you know that. What do you call the river when it goes into the canyon right here? Do you know what that part of the canyon's called?
Mouth? No.
That's called Meander Canyon before it comes into Cataract Canyon. If you enter this canyon down here, it's 450 miles long.
Wow.
So you think of a natural barrier, you have a 450-mile wall. I mean, if you're coming across there with your cattle and your horse and your sheep and your wagons, you'd have to go down, across, back up the other side. And again, that's why all the big trucks are in Moab. It's people are still using this bypass for the last 10,000 years.
Wow.
There's a guy riding his bicycle in here. Terribly dangerous place to ride your bicycle because there's no shoulder.
So after we left Arches National Park, we went into the town of Moab and into this restaurant called the Sunset Grill for our dinner. Charles Steen was a millionaire that had managed to find uranium here in this area, and he and his family spent years looking for it, and finally he really got to the right spot and he became quite wealthy. This was his home that he built on the side of a mountain. It was beautiful there. It has now been turned into this restaurant, and if you see this little white area here, this little white room, that's actually where we were for our dinner, looking out over the valley. It was absolutely beautiful. And one of them actually has a little bit of I should concentrate on eating. I'm too busy doing other stuff. I'm so glad I have that, because that way, otherwise I never know where to. Oh, isn't it gorgeous out here? Maybe I didn't mean to just be out here and go.
Love this so much. I kind of feel like we might fall off, so be careful. No, we won't fall off.
Oh, I'm not kidding. Imagine literally living with this view all the time.
This is so cool. I love this.
Well, thank you for going along with us to Moab.
It's truly an extraordinary place, and we had the time of our lives. You know, we were only in the park for about 4 or 5 hours, and we had like a 3.5 hour drive each way, but it was well worth it. And for me, this was just a preview. I expect that we will probably be coming back here at some point and spending a lot more time here.
That would be wonderful. Alrighty, well, thanks for joining us, and if you like this, please give us a like. That helps a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, be blessed.
We love you guys. Live simple, live free.